So recently on the video so far this year, we have been very much employer focused, but in this video I'm going to change it up and go back more to our traditional content of looking after people who are employees or those seeking work. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to be asked, or ask myself, 3 questions and give my opinion on them, of 3 questions that are commonly asked by people seeking work or employees, and therefore give you my thoughts on those questions. If you haven't seen the channel before, we do videos aimed to help employees seeking work or who are already in work and want to protect themselves a little bit better, or also we'll do some content for employers. So very much a recruitment platform as a company trying to help candidates, potential candidates, or employers improve their processes so we can benefit and improve the whole employment process. Our approach to doing videos is very much straight to the point, give you the real picture of it, no sugarcoating it, and tell you actually as it is. If you like this kind of content, do consider subscribing to our channel, and if you do, don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss any one of our forthcoming videos. If you're unhappy in the job that you're in, there's probably some reason for that, and you need to weigh out whether that's more to do with you or more to do with the company itself. Often I've seen people in my career, and I know many of these people, who have spent 3, 4, 5, even 10 years in a job that they dislike simply because they have some form of misguided loyalty or fear of change. Often what I find with the same people is they actually tend to be pretty good at the job. They take a pride in their work and they feel a sense of responsibility to the customers or to the company or to the written rules of that business that they still believe in firmly, even though their superiors and the company do a lot of talk about following those rules and those values, but don't really show any actions to go and follow those rules or their values. Many people who've been in a job for a while kind of bury their head in the sand a little bit, where they look at it and think, well, if I leave, it could cause me problems. So they weigh it up and they think, well, if I put up with it for this long, I'll put up with it for a little bit longer. For me, that's wrong. If you're in that position, you need to go and do something about it. And let me tell you something about the marketplace now. The marketplace is the best marketplace I've ever seen for candidates. I've done recruitment for about 10 years, and I know people who've done recruitment for about 25, 30 years, and this is by far the best candidate marketplace anyone's ever seen. Let me tell you something, people in retail jobs, people in restaurant jobs, people in all sorts of industries that are unrelated to what we do, what they're finding is when they do move on, they've got a ton of opportunities. Basically, everyone is clambering over themselves to hire you. If you do venture out and you make the commitment to go and change job, honestly, you're going to find something. So don't be frightened of staying where you are if the job makes you unhappy. You need to make a decision on that and take action. This is a difficult one because I feel that it can be very frustrating for an employee when you're working for a company and you feel you're contributing well, not to be remunerated or compensated with the right amount of money if you feel that your contribution has improved or has markedly been better than your peers. And maybe you see, maybe you even know other people that are paid the same money as you for doing the same job, even though you know your contribution is better. And it can be frustrating because therefore there seems to be a justifiable reason for you getting a pay rise. The problem is you have to understand the economics of businesses and the repercussions if a company gives you a pay rise. You see, most businesses, their largest cost is going to be wages. And most businesses at the same time, they don't make a huge profit margin. So the amount of total sales that they have as a business is what is known as their revenue or their turnover. And then their profit is taken that little margin of it, that little percentage point of it that happens to be the bit that's left over that they can take for profit. And that's after tax, wages, all the business costs, increasing costs within businesses, and maybe they've been impacted by the pandemic and things like that, would have had to take out financial deals that they've got to pay back. Maybe they're trying to simply improve the business and invest in the business, and they don't have loads of money left over to be able to do that. So if they've only got a finite amount of profit, the money that they're going to be spending to improve the business, it maybe improve your working environment, give you more training, be able to develop you up, give you a future roadmap, that money's coming from that profit margin, which isn't a large amount. Companies that tend to start giving out pay rises on a regular basis, they might sound great in the short term, but often what you'll find is those companies may have problems in the long term, or they're going to have repercussions that are going to affect your job. Often you'll see companies that have been looking after people, and then the next thing you know, they're doing redundancies. And you might think, well, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Why are they making these redundancies? I thought they were trying to look after people. Well, again, you have a very finite amount of profit margin in most businesses. If you start giving people a pay rise and therefore the revenues aren't going up, or they start trying to invest in things and it's not getting back an improvement for the business in terms of the revenues and the profit margins that they are making, that money therefore can then dwindle from being a small amount of profit to a small amount of loss. A company starts making losses, they have to change things, because otherwise everyone could lose their job, they could go under. The easiest way of getting a pay increase in a business is not doing the same job that you're doing. It's either moving into two fields. One, moving upwards in the ranks of your business by way of progression upwards in that company, and therefore, because of the responsibility and the accountability you have, you'll get paid more money. That's one route, but not everyone wants to go the management route. The only other way of really being able to justify regular pay increases is doing a job that is either key critical to the business in the first place, or if it wasn't done, there's not anyone else who can do it, and therefore you need a really niche skill set that's invaluable to any business, and therefore they have to keep you on to keep their business going. Or you do a job which is a direct revenue stream generator, i.e. a sales or business development role. If you're not doing a management role, or you're on the career path upwards in terms of leadership, you're not doing a direct revenue stream improvement role like a sales or business development role, or you're not doing a role which is crucial to the infrastructure and the operations allowing that business to function, you're probably in a position where you're not valuable enough in the nicest way where that company can justify giving you regular pay rises. So have a look at the career path you're on if you want to change that. For workplace bullying, for me, there's the obvious, which is verbal or physical abuse. And I think that everyone can see that. If you're being sworn at, you're being ridiculed in front of people, you're being unnecessarily unfairly vilified in front of your peers, or you're made to deliberately feel inferior, there's obvious signs of bullying. So I think that those ones, the playground style bullying, the classic, I think is fairly obvious. I think really, if we're looking at what counts as workplace bullying, to try and answer that one, what's the line between whether it's bullying or whether it's just being someone giving you a strict instruction? And I think sometimes that line can be misunderstood. For me, in my opinion, the line is very much where if you're being paid to do a certain job and it's in the remit of your job and your boss is asking you to simply do duties within your job, then that's it. And they can be, I don't have a problem if they're quite forceful in it or assertive about it, as long as they're not blatantly rude. If they're going, I need you to go and do that job, thank you. I don't see that as rude, as long as it's within the remit of what you're being paid to do for your job. I don't see a problem with that. The point of the line where it's then crossed into workplace bullying is all of a sudden they start taking advantage of you to do jobs which are not within your working contract, are not within your remit, not within what you're meant to be doing, and they're asking you to do them simply because they know that you're going to have to do them, otherwise they can threaten you with repercussions, and in instances if you don't do it, then they're threatening you with repercussions. Then I feel that's where the line is being crossed. If you are in that position, you need to make a move as far as I'm concerned, because if a boss has leverage over you to go and do something and is threatening you with your job, or threatening you with a demotion, or threatening you with repercussions that could make your life very difficult, then for me that is where the line is being crossed. Certainly if they're asking you to do things that are out of your remit. So that's for me what would count if you want the line between what counts as workplace bullying and what doesn't. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content like this, you have questions that you want to see my opinion on, or you want me to put more videos out like this to try and help you, put them forward. We're going to have a look at doing a bit of a series on these 3 question kind of scenarios to see how they work out, to try and get some stuff out there and to give you some opinions. So if you like this kind of content, then do get in touch and put them in the comments below. And if you like the video, do click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you for the next one.